afternoon. Happy Friday, February 3rd. Mark Milam here, your mortgage professional with Highland Mortgage, coming to you with this week's interest rate summary and market update. Bit of a mixed bag this week, and is so often the case, what you think might drive the markets to worsen didn't, and what you think might be good news turns out to be bad news. What are we talking about? Well, first let's talk about the Fed funds rate. So everyone and their uncle anticipated that the Fed was going to alter the Fed funds rate come Wednesday at 2 p.m. That's a regularly scheduled meeting, and sure enough, that's exactly what the Fed did, albeit at a smaller increment. The Fed raised the Fed funds rate by 0.25%. That affects home equity lines of credit, that affects credit cards, that affects auto loans. Really no significant impact to long-term mortgage rates. In fact, if we flip the screen around and take a look at what happened to mortgage-backed securities on Wednesday, you can see we actually rallied. We actually improved on the news. Mortgage-backed securities traded higher, interest rates came down. Sort of counterintuitive that the Fed would be raising the Fed funds rate and simultaneously mortgage rates would be improving. But really, the Fed language at 2:30 showed that the Fed really didn't surprise anybody with what they had to say. They said they're going to monitor things, they're going to be data dependent, and as we move through the year, they're going to hike further if they feel like they need to. But the absolute worst thing they could do is take their foot off the gas. We get boomerang inflation in the second half of the year or even in 2024, and we have to go through all of this nonsense again. So we certainly didn't get any surprises on Wednesday, and that was welcome news. What happened on Thursday and Friday was a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to flip the screen back around and scroll down and show you why we sold off, why rates worsened a little bit as we move throughout the week. So here you can see on Thursday, initial jobless claims coming in below estimates. We estimated about 200,000 jobless claims last month, and we only came in at 183. While productivity costs went down, you can see the unemployment rate has also dropped from 3.6% down to 3.4%, and that's because we added an enormous amount of jobs. We added 517,000 jobs in the past month against an estimate of 185,000. That is a huge, huge miss to the upside in terms of job creation. But that doesn't do a whole lot to give the Fed a sense of ease in terms of what might happen to inflation as the year goes on. A red-hot jobs market, a red-hot wage market could spell trouble for inflation, and that will probably keep the Fed's foot on the gas. That's the only excuse they need to keep interest rates at an elevated level, and maybe now a hike coming in March is in the cards for us based upon this most recent jobs data. It's certainly something we're going to be watching. Here's really the perplexing problem, and the problem that the Fed is really not going to be able to solve. Job openings this past month actually went back up. We had seen job openings start to decline, albeit from really elevated levels. But if you looked at the JOLTS number, the job opening number, we're over 11 million open jobs here in the United States over the past 30 days. 11 million open jobs. How many unemployed Americans are there? There's about 6 million unemployed Americans as of the last reading. So if you've got 11 million open jobs and you've got 6 million people unemployed, well, good luck trying to bring any pain to the labor market. You're not going to be able to do it. There's just too much demand out there for workers. The odds of getting that unemployment rate up and slowing down the labor market just not in the Fed's favor, and that's a concern for them because they want to make sure that they keep inflation under control. And the last bastion, the last holdout that could spell trouble for inflation is right there in the jobs market. Hope you have a great weekend. If there's anything I can do for you over the weekend, don't hesitate to reach out. mark.milam@highlandmtg.com. Thanks.